Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, folks, no penalty on horns down. Not only Greg Sankey, but Nick Saban has also chimed in, the godfather of the SEC now. So Texas is going to have to let this go, or at least the really loud minority of Texas fans that wanted it to be a penalty like it was in the Big 12. Those days are over.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
So let's get into this. All right, folks, it's SEC will not penalize Texas opponents for the use of horns down gesture. The SEC coordinator of officials, John McDade, was asked if that was going to be a penalty, as it often was in the Big 12, where it fell under the definition of unsportsmanlike conduct. That's hard to believe the Big 12 allowed that. We're going to talk about that, don't you worry. It says in the SEC's case, it doesn't pass the mall test. Not the smell test, but the mall test. Said the act itself needs to be offending to the senses. If you took that act out of a football stadium and did it in a shopping mall or a grocery store, would it offend the senses of a majority of reasonable people in the area? That signal would not. You might have some people that share the signal with you. If you did that at a grocery store or a shopping mall, depending on where you are, we're going to evaluate it in context. It says the Longhorns have not officially pushed back on any of the horns down discussion. And it all talks about the Rodney Terry, because he got all tore up about it, and I'll show you that.
And have about 6 or 7 guys putting the horns down. We don't do that, because when you do those kind of things, it looks very classless, and it also looks like you were just hoping to win. We never go into games trying to hope to win. We go into games expecting to win. So we don't act like that.
So, yeah, he wasn't real happy about that, and that sort of got the ball rolling. It was already an issue to the point, like I said, the Big 12 actually made it a penalty, unsportsmanlike behavior or whatever. Well, needless to say, Greg Sankey was asked about it, and he was not impressed.
You serious?
Yeah, he didn't think much of it. Let me show you what he said. Said Greg Sankey said Monday that any questions about Texas' past influence over conference boardrooms is a non-issue. He said Texas and Oklahoma are now part of a conference with peer athletic programs and peer universities. So they'll fit and will fit together, the 16, Sankey said. So I don't think he was too impressed with that and didn't really care. I think he just kind of chucked that over to the side, which doesn't surprise me. And Nick Saban also chimed in on it as well. Saban said, what tickles me is people asking these questions about how Texas has always run the conference they were in. They're not going to run the SEC. There's a whole lot of arrogant people in a whole lot of places in the SEC. They can forget about all of that. He said they'll be a good team and a great program, and Sark will do a great job, but that's not going to be a problem. Said football coach Steve Sarkisian leaned into the issue, saying his team's mantra last year was embrace the hate.
Let the hate flow through you.
He's going to use the dark side. Texas is going to the dark side.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Texas Athletic Director Chris Del Conte has said he considers the gesture a compliment to be on the minds of opponents. So anyway, I don't think we have to worry about that issue anymore. Shouldn't be a problem. Also, let's talk about Nick Saban. He does not want the college football playoff to have those 4 byes anymore with conference champions. And realize Nick Saban's got a lot of power. You can ask FSU that.
Took that from me. Stole that from me. Killed that from me!
Yeah, if Nick Saban wants things changed, it'll happen. His concern is that you're going to have a conference champion that really doesn't belong in there. What he wants are the best 12 teams to get in, and he doesn't want any automatic byes. And he also wants strength of schedule to be heavily involved in the process, which again is why he wants the college football committee to make the decision, not necessarily having all those auto bids involved. He said there's a lot of great teams in the SEC, so strength of schedule is really important. He said, I do think the expanded playoff is going to be great for fans. Where we had a 4-team playoff, you only had maybe 7 or 8 teams. He said, I do think the expanded playoff is going to be great for fans. where we had a 4-team playoff, you only had maybe 7 or 8 teams that their fan base got really excited at the end of the season to see if they got in the playoffs. Now you're going to have 25 or 30 fan bases getting excited about the playoffs. And that's something that we discussed yesterday in the video, is that this is going to be the greatest season in the history of college football because of the 12-team playoff. That's just my assumption. I could be wrong, but I highly doubt it. Saban said, "I just wish we could put the best 12 teams in the college football playoff." He said, on the other side of the coin, Saban lamented a debate which raged last year. He wants to see the 12 best teams in the playoff, a conversation which began in 2023 when Florida State missed out. Well, they got screwed on the 4-team field despite going undefeated. Also, Georgia got totally creaked. Georgia should have been in. Ohio State probably should. Look, there should have been 12 teams. But as we discussed, you had the alliance that blocked it for one additional year, which was the Pac-12, which doesn't exist anymore, the Big Ten, it's not the same commissioner, and then Commissioner Phillips, the ACC, who is still there. And there's a lot of bad blood over that from Florida State. I think that's what really got this lawsuit going against the ACC, was his involvement with the alliance, his not fighting for them to get into the playoff. He just gave them some lame letter to the college football playoff saying, "No, we kind of disagree." Whoop-de-doo. So that played a huge role in that lawsuit. It was probably going to happen anyway, but it wouldn't have happened so fast. Said, but when it comes to the final 12 teams, Saban said the best team should get bids. He said, we don't need to worry about conference champions and all that kind of stuff. He said, if you get beat in a conference championship game and you're one of the best teams, you still should get in there because you played really quality opponents and you played good football. He said, that's my only concern about it. I just want the best 12 teams in the playoff, period. Now, I can tell you, I don't think the 12-team playoff is perfect. It's just 100 times better than what we've had previously, in my opinion, because I want a bunch of teams involved with the opportunity to get in. I'm tired of seeing great quality clubs not even have an opportunity to participate in the playoff because it winds up being Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and then pick your fourth. And that's always the way that it pretty much is. And yeah, Connor Stalions got Michigan in a few times.
It's got to be America's team.
And I don't think he's been given his due. But look, some heroes go unsung. It's just the way it is. But we're going to have a lot of changes over the next few years. We're probably going to go to a 14-team playoff where the SEC champion and the Big Ten champion will probably get a bye, and then you'll have the other 12 teams play down to 8 because the 2 and the 6. Because the reality is money's going to be a big factor in this. You're going to have revenue sharing where, $20 million a year is going to go to players. So all of these teams that have these budgets, $20 million's coming off the top. So where are they going to get the money? Additional games. So the more people you have in the playoff, the more money there is because it's more games. You're probably going to see the regular season extended another game. Instead of 12 games, it's probably going to go to 13 or 14 because these are now professional athletes. They're getting paid. The argument of these are amateurs and all that kind of stuff goes out the window. The NFL has been adding games since they originally started with 14 games and then went to 16, 17. And that's just the way it is. The players are going to want more money. The teams are going to need more money. Extra games. The obvious answer. Whether you like that or not. And I understand there's plenty of people out there that do not want things changed. I get that. It's not a bad argument. I'm just saying the money is going to dictate it because with revenue sharing, and so many people have said players ought to get paid, well, along with that is going to be a ton of pressure of more revenue. The obvious answer, more games. So anyway, I did want to cover all this. No penalty. Texas, calm down. You're going to be okay. You just, look, it's not the Big 12 anymore. You're not the bully.
What, are you going to cry now? Come on, cry, baby. Cry for me. Come on. Cry.
No, you're just one of the gang now. And that's going to be hard for you at first, but believe me, the SEC will get you calmed down. That's what they do. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all these big sports stories. Makes it super easy to get my videos too if you'll just hit that little button right there. And if you don't know how to do it, that's okay. You can go onto your phone, hit the YouTube app. It's way easier that way. If you're watching on a TV, simple. And right over here is the most recent video that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.